speak at an international RI convention. Neither of us can actually pinpoint which one it was, but for me it's either Montreal, New Orleans, or Birmingham, UK. So you might have been at those. But what Michael had to say really resonated with me, and I can still actually, it resonated with me personally and as a Rotarian. And I can actually still remember some of the salient points and have been known to quote them, as Ewan will verify. Yeah? Michael is a Rotarian. Your club is the Rotary Club of Michigan?
Rotary Club of Troy, Michigan, Troy.
Okay, Tory, Michigan. Gosh, in our language, that means a conservative with a capital C, Tory.
No, it's Troy, Troy.
Oh, Troy. Oh, right, as in the fall of. Yeah, okay. He teaches leaders and salespeople how to be better presenters, and he's well known throughout the world. He has delivered, this is the last quote, over 2,000 presentations and keynote speeches on 5 continents, and last I heard, in 49 of the 50 states. I don't know if you've made the last one yet.
No.
You haven't?
It was supposed to be Hawaii at the International Convention, which was canceled.
That's right.
But we're going back in a few years, so hopefully I can check that box.
Yeah, are you going to Melbourne?
Yes.
Okay. As a Rotarian, Michael does not charge us, or Rotary indeed, for his services, and that's a Rotarian, isn't it? Okay. Michael, I think I'll hand over to you, with apologies again for the paucity of the audience, but it's a very select and intellectual crowd you have in front of you.
Yes, it's all equality.
The quality, exactly. So if you'd like to mute yourselves, folks.
It's lovely to be with you today. Thank you so much for attending. I hope to leave you with some great information about, Jill had asked me to speak a bit about viability in the Rotary space and how we can be even more interesting to people that maybe want to join, which is a nice fit for me because I'm a communication-based consultant, which means I help people and organizations improve their communication. I think that communication can solve almost every problem. And unfortunately, because we live in a fast-paced world, we're not communicating in very careful ways sometimes. Think about something like text, where nuance is left behind. Things are misinterpreted. You lose the tone of voice. You lose the personality of the person in a text message. And yet many people today are loath to even pick up the telephone and call. They would rather just text. And so they forfeit the benefits and the nutrition of rich conversation. I help both organizations and individuals. My primary raison d'etre, as the French would say, is I teach presentation skills. So I work with a lot of salespeople and sales leaders. I have an online coaching program where I help people improve their presentations. And so as a guest, a frequent guest to Rotary clubs, districts, zones, the International Convention, as Jill was kind to mention, I see the best and worst of Rotary all over the world. When I say the worst, I mean there are clubs maybe that are struggling, districts that aren't doing what they should be doing to remain viable. And I just collect all this information and I bring it back to my own club. I bring it back to my own district. Last year, I brought it back to Zone 28, where I served as Rotary Public Image Chair. And it's my pleasure to share this information with you today, to the extent that you care to hear it. We can talk about whatever you'd like to talk about, but that was kind of, I think, our marching orders for today, Jill. Do I have that correct? There you are.
Don't forget the 15. Yeah?
The 15 most powerful words.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do that. The 15 most powerful words. I think that's one of the things that people remember when I talk. It's become an interesting bit. You know, in the communication process, you never know what's going to stick with another person. And many, many years ago, I came up with this little bit, because I work like a comedian, right, when I speak. So I have these little bits. And the bit was the 15 most powerful words. And they're not based on any research whatsoever. They're just 15 words that work. They sound good together. And the video now has thousands of views on YouTube. Let's open with that just to get people juiced up a little bit, and then we'll move into things like communication and viability. The 15 most powerful words you can ever use with a person, and we can put them in presentations, we can put them in articles, we can put them in text messages, of course. I'm going to give them to you like this: the 5 most powerful, the 4, the 3, they add up to 15. So you'll never remember. If you want to remember, you might want to jot them down. But there's also a video on YouTube. If you search my full name plus 15 words, it'll come right up and you can see it performed in front of a live audience. So the 5 most powerful words you can ever use with another person are, I am proud of you. People love to hear this, and unfortunately in our society, we tend to only say it to children, when in fact it's a powerful sentiment to be shared with anybody. If you're still working, and I imagine we have people on the call that are still working, perhaps retired now, but if you are still working, if you ever said this to your boss in a quiet moment at the water cooler, you would be the only person to say it that month. The boss doesn't hear this very often. I am proud of you. Thanks for all you do to grow our organization. You can say it to relatives, you can say it to children, you can say it to grandchildren. It's just one of those things that people, they love to hear it and they sign off on it right away. The 4 most powerful words are, what is your opinion? Or what do you think? Everyone likes to tell you what they think, and when you solicit for that information, it makes them feel valuable, it makes them feel important. I feel so strongly about this that I even ask people what they think when I already know what they think. Because I want to go through that process. I want to show them that I respect their opinion. Then I want them to tell me, right? And then I can say, thank you very much, Jack, right? We talked about it. So I love that sentiment. What do you think, or what is your opinion? In the Rotary world, I think it's a good idea for us to ask people what they think about our club experience, for example. We don't do it often. We thank people for coming. We say we hope to see you again soon. But we don't call them afterward and say, what did you think of our club? What really worked for you? What didn't work so well for you? Was there anything that even made you mildly uncomfortable? Like our singing? Or was the food good? Because that's how you really find out what's going on when you ask people that question directly. What is your opinion? The 3 most powerful words are, will you please? And we all know that etiquette has become a lot less formal and a lot less exercised in our society today. I've noticed that an entire generation of people has stopped saying you're welcome. What do people say now instead of you're welcome? You can take yourself off mute. What do they say when you say thank you very much? And they say what?
No worries.
No worries. Very good. Or no problem.
Okay. My pleasure.
Yeah. Or my personal favorite, yeah. Yeah. I don't know how this happened. I don't know why an entire generation has stopped saying you're welcome. I like it. I think it's a nice little ping, P-I-N-G. But it's still a powerful thing to say is you're welcome. The 2 most powerful words are thank you. And the single most powerful word you can ever use with another person is the person's name. Right, Mike? Right, Joe Allen? Right, Brian? I do this from the stage often when I'm speaking, even if it's a large audience. If I don't know the person's name, I might even gesture at that person. What do you think? Is this about right for you? And I get them to nod their head. That's a nice little buy-in. And by the way, if they don't buy in, I want to hear from them. But most of the time, 90% of the time, yeah, that's good with me. Yes, yes, yes. And it's that connectivity that we like to see, that communication process. Communication is a two-way loop. It's not just me talking to you, it's you signaling back to me that you get it, you understand, and it works the other direction as well. So those are the 15 most powerful words. I'm going to drop a couple of links into the chat that you can sign up for. They're all free. You don't have to sign up for all of them. You can choose. I'll show you right now how to get more information. There's that YouTube channel at the top, and you can click on these links right now. They'll open in your browser, and you can just find them after the call. I'm offering a free effective leadership book. I'm offering a chance to join my Present Like a Pro group if you do speaking at all. Certainly if you do speaking for Rotary and you want to be better at it. Present Like a Pro is the group on Facebook. I have a free presentation checklist if you ever do talks and you're leaving things out that you don't want to leave out. There's another group that you're probably most interested in. It's called Get the Word Out Now. This is specifically for Rotary, and this is for people that want to get better at marketing and getting the word out. It's a way to have more attendees at meetings, even Zoom meetings like this one. We can talk more about that later if you want, Jill. And there's a Friday 5 newsletter. I guarantee this will be the most fun email you receive all week. It's free again, and no friction or antagonism in this email. It's just sunshine and happiness, and it's a rare thing today to get a piece of email that doesn't have any bad news in it, no politics, nothing. So I wanted to also share with you today 4 things that you can do right now in your club to improve your situation. And I'll issue a little caveat to this. If you think your club is great right now, perfect right now, and doesn't need to change at all, it's okay. But if you think there are things about your club that might be better, might be improved, these 4 things will certainly help you. And then we'll close the presentation today answering questions, specific questions ideally about your club situation, maybe about communication challenges that you're having outside the club. That's fine too. But let's get started with those 4 things that any club can do to improve their situation right now. The first thing that you can do as a club is to improve comms. That is a military term, comms, C-O-M-M-S. Renee and I just finished watching Band of Brothers. Have you seen the show Band of Brothers? It's about World War II, and it's by Steven Spielberg. And it's about war. It's about how people process war. It's been out for quite a while now, but I really enjoyed it. And so I've been thinking about military terminology because it's a pretty long series. Improve your comms means improve your communication. So here's a question for you. For Jill and anybody that wants to answer. When you communicate to the club, what is your primary modality of communication? What's the most effective way to get a message to fellow Rotarians and have it register? Now, the easy answer might be email. But what's your open rate on email? How did email work as you promoted this event today? Did it deliver for you? Another answer that's a good one is word of mouth or directly saying it to you. Now, I'm 100% sure, everybody, and maybe this is arrogant of me, but I'm 100% sure that if I say something to you on this call, you're going to get it. And that's the nature of this one-on-one or Zoom communication. That if I say, thumbs up if you can hear me right now, thumbs up if you can hear me right now, I got 100%, except for Monique, or Jackie, excuse me, except for Jackie. I didn't see her thumb. It might have been there, but it wasn't on camera. Thank you, Jackie. I am 100% sure I just communicated with you. So this is a fantastic way to get the word out. The problem is if only 10% of your club members are coming to meetings, you're only getting that thumbs up from 10% of your people. Here in the United States, only 10% of the district attends our most important event of the year. What event do you think that is, everybody? Take yourself off mute.
The conference.
The district conference.
Yeah.
So the average district has maybe 2,200 people. And we're lucky to get 200 people at most conferences. That's not a good sign. It's only 10% attending the most important event of the year. And a lot of them are the same people that came last year. Do you see that over in England? Yeah.
Exactly. Ewan?
Yeah, so we have to figure this out because there's room for improvement is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, Ewan organised the last district conference. And
Yeah.
yes, it's the same.
Yeah, okay. So
I think it's an even smaller number, Michael. We had about 200 people there, but a lot of them are partners.
They're what?
Rotarians there.
Yeah.
It's less than 10%. Yes.
Yeah, and we shouldn't shy away from that analysis. Thank you very much. I appreciate that observation because it may be difficult to talk about it, but it's data, and data doesn't lie. Data is what it is, right? So so when I say improve your comms, I mean get really good at one of them. Like get an email list that is just really good. How many members are in your club, please?
44, is it, Joe? On paper.
And what is your mailing list? How many on the mailing list?
Joe? Mute. You're muted, Joe.
Yeah, it's the same. When we mail, we do the whole membership for 44.
Yeah. Do you not have any friends of Rotary, Joe?
Well, yeah, but we don't communicate very much with them generally, do
Nope.
we? I don't.
And why is that?
I'm the secretary, by the way, so I probably send the most emails.
Yeah. So here's an idea. It's $1 million idea. Is why not communicate with people that have visited your club? They already said that they voted with their feet. They liked you once. Why not try to get them to come back? What if you could get them to come back 3 times? Then they're eligible for membership. What if you could get them to come back twice a year? Maybe once for a holiday meeting and once for some other special event. What if you could get them to attend one of your fundraisers? Don't give up on Friends of Rotary. What are you using for a database, Joe? Is it Club Runner or DACDB or something else?
We tend not to use Club Runner. I don't think anyone in the UK does.
What are you using?
Just a list of email addresses that I've got. I mean, it's
Okay.
nothing sophisticated.
It's okay.
And the RIBI databases, which are linked.
Yeah, you don't need anything fancy because it's just email, right? But for them to hear from you once in a while, we love you, we care about you, look what we've got going on. It's essentially a message that says, look at us. Now, that's not the only reason you want to get your comms right, but that's a good reason to get your comms right, especially if your reason for existence is people. You got to stay connected to people. So I would suggest collecting email from Adam Crispin. You can do it in chat. Somebody message him directly and say, hi, Adam, we want to keep in touch with you. What's your email address? And if you send a message to everyone and Adam responds to everyone, we'll actually see it happen in chat. And then we'll know that thumbs up again, right? The message got through. Adam, you don't mind sharing your email for invitations, quality invitations, do you, sir?
No problem.
Yeah. Adam wants to get quality invitations. I know I do. But don't burn your people out. Don't send them too many messages. Just send them the good stuff. Okay, so that's number 1 of the 4 things. Get your comms right. Second thing that you need to do is improve, probably, because most companies do, most products do, most services do, improve your value proposition or value prop. Now, I'll just talk about my club right now because I know my club really well. And if you talk to anybody in my club about why Troy Rotary, TROY, is a great club, they will tell you, well, we have great people and we're very welcoming and we're fun, right? And we do good work in the community. And all of those things are true. But they're maybe not as true as our people think they are. And what we're offering as Troy Rotary may not be as valuable as the Troy Chamber of Commerce is offering, or the Troy Kiwanis organization, or the Troy Optimists, or any number of other, things that people can get involved with. So we sometimes convince ourselves that our value proposition is more valuable than it really is. And one way to find out is to ask those people that attended, did you feel welcome today? And if not, tell us why. What can we do better? And you never get tired of answering that question or asking that question. Value proposition. I think this is the number one challenge with Rotary membership not across the world, but certainly here in North America. And I think you guys have this issue too, that's kind of flatlined or maybe even a little down. Thumbs up if that's true in the UK. Yeah, I think so. Is that we've come to think in an insular way that we're the best thing going. But the people that visit our club say, no, it's not really that impressive. You have to do better to impress me. You have to do better to get me to join or come back a second time. So I'm talking about my club right now, not yours. My club. So improve the value prop. The third thing that we can do is be interested before we try to be interesting. So a lot of times when people visit our clubs, we say, well, can't you see how great we are? Don't you want to join? And they're not ready to join yet. They weren't even ready to be asked to join. They weren't impressed enough. But we get ahead. There's a saying, we put the cart in front of the horse, right? So what's the best way to have people become interested in you is to show interest in them, right? Write this down. When you show interest in others, others will show interest in you. I was on an airplane one time and my seatmate got to my row and I was in the aisle, so I had to get up for him to get in. And he was on the cell phone talking to a child. He was saying goodbye to the child. I didn't understand what was happening at first, but it became clear. As he puts his bag overhead, he's got another one he's going to put under the seat. It's got a luggage tag of a Michigan company. I think I recognize the company. I think he probably works there. Don't know, just looking, just observing. Now he's talking to a second child, saying goodbye. He sits down, more people get on the plane. Now he's saying goodbye to a third child. He's yelling, the other child's yelling and crying into the phone. Doesn't want daddy to leave. And he's in a bad way, the father. In a minute he's going to have to hang up on his son because the flight attendant's going to insist that he hangs up on his son. And I'm just paying attention to all this. I have nothing else to do, right? We're waiting for the plane to take off. He says, I gotta go, son, I gotta go, please don't cry. He has to hang up the phone. He sighs as if the weight of the world is leaving his shoulders. And I turned to him and I said, Daddy's leaving home, isn't he? And he looked at me and he smiled and he said, oh, you were listening? And I said, how could I not? He said, yeah, my kids do not like it when I leave home. I said, how many children do you have? He said, 3. I said, what are their names? He said, we gave them S names, Sandy, Sally, and Scotty. I said, how old are they? He says, 5, 6, and 9. Scotty's the oldest one, 9-year-old. He was the one that was crying the loudest. I said, wow, that's got to be tough. I said, how often do you travel? He says, well, I'm a sales manager at this company. I said, the company on the luggage tag? He said, that's right. He says, I'm a sales manager there. I have to go out into the field and make sure my people work a full day. I'm out 15, sometimes 18 days a month. I said, wow, that's got to be tough. And then the gentleman got an interesting expression on his face. He kind of looked at me and he said, I'm sorry I didn't get your name. Now, he's not sorry he didn't get my name. He's sorry that he's given a complete stranger so much information. I mean, think about this. I now know where he works, what he does for a living. I know how many children he has. I know the names of the children. I know his job title, and I know his number one problem at work. And he knows nothing about me. It's time to play catch up. So he says, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. I held out my hand first because I know the person who holds out his hand first has influence in the interaction. I said, my name's Michael Angelo Caruso. Now, my name by itself is an elevator speech. And he starts shaking my hand. He says, Michael Angelo Caruso. He says, that's a great name. And he says, what do you do for a living? I said, well, I help sales managers get their people to work a full day. He says, "Can I have a card?" And the woman behind us says, "I want one too." You see what happened in that story? You see how many questions I asked him about his situation? He didn't volunteer any of it initially. I had to ask him. I was interested in him, and then I became interesting to him. And the end result was him showing enough interest in me to get my card because maybe I could help him in some way down the road. Now, I didn't go through that exercise just for business, just so I could get a new client. I did it because it's the right thing to do. And sometimes when you do the right thing, you get a new client. But when you're interested before you're interesting, you're extending that communication first. And I think it's incumbent upon us as Rotarians, as role model citizens, that we do the reach out first. Super important. So be interested before you're interesting. I promised to tell you 4 things that could improve your situation, no matter what the situation. The first is to improve comms. The second is to get a more concise, obvious value prop. The third is this concept of being interested before being interesting. And the fourth thing is to have a bigger megaphone. And the megaphone can be the size of your list, Joe. I think for most clubs, your master list, so you have a club list of club members is 44 or something like that. But the master list should be 10x, 440 friends of Rotary. All the people that have visited through the years, all the people that come to your events, all the people who have been guest speakers. You should add my email. I gave it to you at the top. You should add my email to your master list and let me know what you're doing. So let me tell you something I did last week that was interesting, that showed how to have a bigger megaphone. I did a Zoom call just like this, and this has happened many times. And by the way, I've come to events many times, Jill, where the meeting host has apologized to me. So it happens both ways. And I often scratch my head. I'm like, why did it go this way today? And then sometimes ask, how could it be better next time? So not so much about today. How can it be better next time? I attended an event, and the people on the call were so lively, the members, the Rotarians. And it was an extra boost of energy, and I didn't know why exactly until they told me that they had so many guests on the call. More than double the people that normally come to the club were on the Zoom call. And then I started to understand, they were excited. They were seeing new, fresh faces. They were new. And then I asked questions, how did you do this? How did you make that happen? And they had secrets for this that they shared with me, using social media. They had that bigger list, Joe, that we're talking about. The speaker promoted his own event with the club, which I would have been happy to do for you guys, because I've got friends all over the world. My master list is 4,000 people, 4,000. But I've been collecting the emails for years, and of course people quit the list. But the ones that like my newsletter, they like my content, they enjoy my video reports from when I travel, they stay with me. And you guys will experience the same thing. Martin, are you working or are you retired, sir?
Me or the other Martin?
I'm sorry?
Which Martin?
Oh, you, sir.
Me, yeah. Yes, I'm working.
Okay.
It's not a real keyboard behind me.
Yeah. And the other Martin?
Yeah, I'm retired, thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you for your service, whatever you're retired from. But Martin, the first Martin, you can use the same general guideline for promoting your own business, or if you're the owner, or if you're not the owner, maybe your department. It's all communication based is what I'm getting at, everybody. So let's do some quick Q&A, and I'll happy to answer any questions that you have for me. Does any of this spark ideas for you or get you thinking?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Jackie? Jackie?
I think it's been really interesting, actually. My background's marketing. I try and help with some of the PR and comms in our club, but I just have a very busy summer season, so I've not been doing very much recently. And it's just really nice to hear some ideas and a bit of a refresh and a reset. And there's always lots more that we could do. And certainly I've made lots of notes. And I've already sent all your links out to our club secretary to email everybody.
Oh, thank you very much.
Including Andy, just in case we lose the links when the meeting goes dead or if I have to leave early. So lots of ideas, and I think that's really nice.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I think I might sign up for your Friday newsletter too. I think that sounds great fun.
It's really good. Really good.
Thank you, ladies.
And little comments on Facebook.
Yes.
Little jokes.
What?
Yeah, that has certainly made me think about my megaphone, which wasn't loud enough. And the list could have been bigger, and I could have reminded them more.
Yes.
I think I can make all sorts of excuses, but it's a learning curve.
I mentioned before the call, Jill, I don't know if you were on. I'll get to you in 1 second, Ewan. Thank you. Is it pronounced Ewan?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on 1 sec.
Yes.
In a minute.
I've got one question, one comment, Michael. I'm fascinated to know why you have a suit of armour in the corner of your room. But the second point I wanted to make was a recommendation to everybody else. Sign up to the what do you call it, the Friday Five.
Yeah. Thank you.
I signed up after we last met. I think in New Orleans, and I've been getting it every week. And it's what I like about it. It is not complicated, and I don't mean that as a criticism. It's easy information to digest. As indeed, I think most of your information today has been easy to digest.
Thank you.
I think that's the value of it.
Yeah.
So my recommendation would be to everybody else, sign up to the Friday Five and the other sites you've given us. It's well worth it.
I appreciate
Why
that.
the suit of armor?
Thank you very much. The suit of armor has been with me for a long time. I live with Renee Pothetis now, and I love her a lot. But this guy's been my roommate forever, and he never says anything. He's the best roommate.
Okay.
Renee is a redhead, is she?
Yeah, she's the redhead. That's right.
Okay. Another thing I picked up on there, which resonated, was the mailing list. When we send out the bulletin, I tend to send it to our twin club in Bideford, Maine, and to our German club in Ulpson, and to the honouring members. And a couple of weeks, months or so ago, I sent it out to somebody who left the club but is still very fond of us, and I'd forgotten her. And the response I got for sending that bulletin to her was so warm and thankful. And she turned up at our last event to help us out.
Lovely.
So you know who I'm talking about. So, yeah, but I just thought, oh, how nice. I didn't see that I could build on that. That's good. Thank you.
Well, I probably short-sheeted you a bit on this because I haven't told you exactly how to improve it. I've just encouraged you to improve it. So if you'd like, I'll share a couple of practical, easy-to-understand ways to do this. Example.
Yeah.
And it's too late for this program, but you can do it for your next speaker. Irene Russell, who is a former district governor out in Manchester, out Manchester way, is having me speak, I mentioned this earlier, in Manchester the end of October. And we're looking forward to coming back to the UK. We love it there. And we love the people. And I always tell people that are hosting me, whether it's online or live, I say to them, tag me in your social media posts, because if you tag me, I'll see it. And when I see it, I will comment, I'll contribute to the energy, and I'll encourage people to sign up. So there's a slogan in marketing, hitch your wagon to people with bigger wagons. So let's say you have a bag of tricks, but it's only working so well for you. But you have a speaker come in that has a different bag of tricks that you could benefit from. You want to make sure that the speaker's part of the marketing, that he's somehow getting pinged, she is somehow getting pinged on your marketing so you can have those wagons work together, you see? I'm not sure that we did that for this event, Jill, but you can do it next time.
Well,
Yeah. Another idea is when you post to Facebook is you have to post an interesting graphic. You know, it's called Facebook. So try to find something that's interesting and useful. And you can check my Facebook posts. I always try to get at least 10 pieces of engagement for every post. That's my scorecard. And if I'm not getting 10 pieces of engagement, that communication was less than. It didn't work. So I'm always sharpening this and trying to get better at it. And, you know, when I teach others, I try to encourage them too to be more cognizant of what you're communicating. Make sure it has that value for folks. What other kinds of questions can I answer for you?
Can I just say, I think the trick is you're obviously a real people person. You are genuinely interested in people.
I am.
You have a connection. And I think that makes people then warm to you and warm to your message. And I think that's one of the strengths of a lot of Rotary, because it is about giving and about giving some of yourself and giving service. But until people actually access that and start getting involved, it's something that perhaps they don't realise how much they can get back by giving.
I think everybody's special, Jackie, but I do think that only certain people have this kind of, and I don't know that I have it, I'd like to have more of it, this kind of magnetism. You've heard the phrase, everybody, cult of personality. It's usually a negative context. Cult of personality is a bad thing. But I think you got to have a cult of personality that's a good thing too. Like, we're trying to start a club here in this part of the Rotary world, and we realize we have to have a champion. There has to be somebody in this club as a spark plug, the magnet, the cult of personality that people will gravitate toward. I'm going to join this club just because of this person. And if you're not that person, you have to get good at identifying who that person is. It's super important. And every club should have one or two of them, right? So I don't know who it is in your club, but when you find out who that person is, you got to take care of them and nurture them and encourage them. And ideally have them mentor somebody else to become the second string or third string. It's a great point. Thank you for the nice compliment as well. I sometimes wonder how I got to be like this. The simple version is that my dad was Italian. He was Caruso, right? He was a big smile, and he was a people person. He was a musician. He played trumpet. He loved life. Every time we get up in the morning, good morning, big smile on his face. And my mother was German. So I got some of that from my dad, I think.
Michael,
Yes, sir.
could I just take you back? You said when you post something in feedback, excuse me, 10 pieces of engagement for every post. Can you just expand on that? I'm just looking at some of your posts at the moment. I've got, I discovered that 7 years ago you were standing in front of Warren Buffett's house and he didn't invite you in. But tell me more, please, about this 10-point pieces of engagement.
Sure. And while you're looking at the post, Ewan, how many pieces of engagement does the post have? What is the number there? Thumbs up, hearts, likes?
Right, what have we got? Likes. There were five likes.
Okay. So it's less than. Now this is an older post. I would like to have 10. And a piece of engagement, everybody, is a like, a thumbs up, a heart, an emoticon, a comment, or a share. Guess which one, and they're all worth different points. Guess which one's worth the most?
Share.
Sorry?
So
The share is worth the most. Why? Because when somebody shares it, if they have 1,000 Facebook friends, 1,000 people will see it. I want my content to be so valuable that you will share it. Not like it, not give it a thumbs up, but share it.
It's a sort of ripple effect, isn't isn't it? Because
Yes.
the sharers might share.
That's right.
Yeah, well, I understand that. Okay, I'm just about to like a post that tells me I can. Kalamazoo, Michigan has decriminalized public urination, so I can pee anywhere in Kalamazoo.
Yeah, you might like that.
Yeah, so he's now got 11 points on that one.
Yeah, and sometimes it's the strangest things. You know, a lot of times, because I'm a marketer at heart, I'm always marketing my business and my services and my products, but I have to remember it's social media. I can't just fire hose you all the time with my business stuff. So sometimes I post about public urination, and surprisingly, it gets high rating because people are people, right? And it is an unusual law. There's a college town, and I guess they can't enforce public urination anymore. They can't. There's too many people doing it, so they decided to rather than try to figure that out, they just took the law off the books.
Jackie?
I don't want to dominate this, but I just thought of a proper question rather than flattery. You're talking about social media, and we have got a reasonably okay Facebook presence, but we've been discussing how we can appeal to a slightly younger age profile, because we've got some younger members, and we're talking to them about Instagram, TikTok, and other social media. Do you have any specific advice?
Well, I think you should get really good at one platform before you try to specialize. If you did move over, I would think maybe you don't have LinkedIn in Great Britain, do you?
We more business. It's a more of a commercial thing on the whole. That's my opinion. I don't know what anybody else thinks.
Yeah. So I tell people over here LinkedIn, because now you're getting young professionals. You're getting professionals and you're getting young people. But Instagram's fine too. The thing is, you get really good at one of them first. Get up to that 10 pieces of engagement. Watch your scorecard. Make sure that you're doing, because if you spread out your efforts, you won't be good at either of them. So get really, really good at Facebook first.
Yeah, what we were thinking though is if we had one person in charge of Facebook, somebody else in charge of Instagram, say, someone else in charge of another type of social media.
Yeah, you could go that route. But monitor, don't just, because you can burn people out. Don't just tell them to do it and never check on them. You can get metrics on this stuff. You can keep track. And if it's not working, change it. If it's something not working, it's not working. All the hope in the world isn't going to change it. This is...
Yeah. Interesting things to talk about. And because we do quite a lot of interesting meetings, actually, that really, and events like our water festival, that gets a huge number of hits.
Yeah, nice.
And we've got, 30,000 likes and comments on lots of our posts.
Adam says I think Adam just volunteered himself up here. I'm a member of the South Moulton Club, another club in the district. My email is Adam. Very good, Adam. Adam, I'm going to add you to the Friday 5 if that's all right with you.
I've signed up to it already, I think.
I have a question for Adam, too, before we move on from him. You're the only guest, I think, on the call today. How did you come to know about the event?
It was shared by our president, I think, or our secretary. It was sent on email earlier in the week. And I had a space in my diary and thought it sounded interesting.
Thank you. What attracted you the most? What did you see in the promo that convinced you?
I can't remember. I think it was probably your bio and just kind of, you sounded like an interesting guy to listen to.
Okay, thank you. I hope I didn't let you down.
Yeah, it has been very good.
Very good. Thank you, Adam. Joe.
Yeah. Earlier you said in the 4 ways to improve club, a more concise prop. I don't think you went into that. What was that about? I missed it.
A more concise...
Value prop.
Oh, value prop, yeah.
A value prop.
So, I was hired to do an event for a bunch of lawyers here in town, and the promo for the thing is a PDF, and it has my name, and none of the lawyers know my name. It just has my name. It has the title of my program. It's a pretty good title, but I don't think it's enough to cancel your afternoon and come see me. and then it has the date and the time and the registration link. But it leaves out a very, very important bit of information. Can anybody tell me what's missing?
A greeting?
There's probably a greeting there.
Okay.
What they're going to get out of it.
to say. Yeah, what they're going to get out of it.
That's exactly right, Martin. It's what they're going to get out of it. The bullet points. What are they going to learn from me? Because they don't care about me. I mean, Adam's rare here. He signed up just because he liked a photo or he liked my name or he liked something about the visceral appeal. But if you really want to draw a crowd, you have to tell them what they're going to get out of it. And emotion sells. So don't just tell them they're going to get 5 tips or they're going to learn 3 things. Tell them that they will sleep better at night. Tell them that they will feel happier with themselves. Tell them that they'll have a spring in their step. Don't leave that stuff out because emotion is powerful. You know, one of our problems in Rotary is people join Rotary to feel better about themselves, but it's a hard thing to put in writing. I've been in Rotary for 25 years because it makes me feel good as a person. But I can't articulate that to you. I don't know how to explain that to you.
You just have to be it.
But I can't. But I get a chance at explaining it if I tell you. I'm not telling you about the 4-way test, and I'm not telling you about the Rotary Foundation, and I'm not telling you about every Rotarian every year. I'm telling you how I feel as a person, that it's the best decision I ever made. And then you start to nod your head. Oh, I think I get it now. I think I need to come to a Rotary Club meeting. You see? There's an example too. We always invite them to a meeting, but nobody wants to go to an extra meeting. Change the word. Lunch, wine tasting, service project. Stop calling it a meeting. Nobody wants to go to a meeting of a club they don't belong to. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Well, Michael, thank you very much. I think we've all learned a lot, and I feel sorry for the people who weren't here.
Well, you've got that video, fortunately.
We have, and there is also a video on YouTube, everybody, of a very, very young Angelo Caruso giving his first talk to a Rotary Club.
Wow.
I haven't looked at it, Michael, but I noticed it when I was checking things out.
Yeah, thank you.
You're probably rather I didn't mention that.
No, everybody knows I was young once.
So it's my job now to say thank you very, very much. I have apologized. I'm not going to do it again because I think it was one of the most worthwhile things that I've organized. And you lived up to my expectations, Michael. I am proud of you. Thank you very, very much. Can we give him a clap, ladies and gentlemen?
Thank you very much, everybody. I wish you the best. I hope to see you in Melbourne next year and maybe online at one of these things. And thank you for all you do for the greatest service organization in the world.